The next, even more popular method of taking payments are invoices and payments. So it's a two-step process as opposed to a sales receipt, which is a one-step process. When you're using invoices and payments, that opens you up to accounts receivable, which basically means you're doing the work now, but you're not getting paid until later. So you have to track the status of all of those payments and invoices. I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of creating an invoice, and I'm also going to show you how to use AI in order to do it. I'm going to go back. We're going to keep working with Diane for today. And when I want to make an invoice, just like with sales receipts, I can do it from inside the transaction and make an invoice from here, or I can go to the Create button and make an invoice from here. Let's go ahead. This time I'll make it from right inside Diane's customer file. So it's opened up an invoice and it auto-filled with her name. And here's the address. If I need to edit the customer, by the way, I can, If I need to edit the address, by the way, I can actually edit the customer and that will pop them up here so that I can put in any missing information or make corrections. I can put in the terms of the invoice right here. Maybe it's net 30, maybe it's due on receipt. You'll put in the invoice date. And again, that's not today's date, it's the date the work was done. And then depending on their terms, the due date will recalculate according to the terms that you have. So net 30, it says now that this is due in 30 days. You have your custom fields here for PO number or sales rep and the employee rep. And then we get into the product lines themselves. Now, one of the products that we made earlier was a bundle, and I want to show you how the bundle works. So I'm going to open up the cabinet bundle. You put one line in, and then it bursts open and shows you all of the line items underneath. And I'm also going to put a class on this. This one is going to be for still their new construction. When I scroll down, I have the discount box like I had before, and I can toggle between dollar amount and a percentage. And I can set the tax. If I need to see the math on the sales tax, I can click on the see the math here and it will open up and show me how the sales tax was calculated. And note that it has the state and the city taxes and the district taxes all built in. It is important, as I mentioned earlier, to make sure that your products and services are marked with the correct tax rate so that it calculates correctly. And then I have my invoice total right down there. Now, I mentioned the AI. If I look over, no, I didn't mention the AI. Now, I do want to also point out that the new QuickBooks on the Intuit platform has several different ways of working with AI in order to assist you with your invoice making. One is a panel on the left-hand side, and the other is the ability to actually forward information into your QuickBooks. So let's first do the pane on the left-hand side. So what I'm keeping my eye on is the little Intuit Assist Spark that's right there. And when I open it up, I have Let's Get You Paid Sooner. And one of the things I like about this is it gives you information about that customer. Now, this is a customer that I just added in, so there's no history here. But what you can see is when they became a customer, how many invoices they've had, how many invoices are not due yet, how many invoices are late. So it lets you see the pattern of that particular customer. Then it makes suggestions on how to get paid faster. Should you add late fees? If you have QuickBooks payments already, you won't see this one because it'll already be there. But also, you do have the ability to create this invoice. Instead of doing it manually by typing it all in, you can actually paste in a file or a JPEG or a PDF or even just some text, and it will parse it out and then autofill as much of your invoice as it can. So I'll show you an example of that when we get to the expenses instead of doing it here on the invoices, but it's really neat that you can automate some of this process. Now, the second option is emailing in your invoices or your sales income. And most people aren't getting information from their customers, but I do. For example, I have my content is in my CPE.com, and every month I get paid for the number of people who watch my videos. So they send me an email telling me how much I made that month. I can forward that in, and then it will automatically, or it won't automatically, but then I can use that to actually create the invoice. In order to set these emails, basically you go into the business feed, and I can't do it. I can do it from here. I have it open in this tab. Here's the business feed over here on the left-hand side. And over on the right-hand side, I have the ability to autofill. And when I go to manage settings, then here's where I can set the email address that I send to. Now, Rock Castle Construction Inc. is really long, so I can edit that email, and maybe I just call it Rock Castle, right? Something really nice and short. And now I can send these income transactions to Rock Castle plus sales at assist.intuit.com. And then that would make it available for me to turn into this invoice using the Intuit Assist on the left-hand side. So it all works really nicely together. All right, now let's go back to the invoice itself. I have started making the invoice for the sale, but I want to customize it a little bit more. And so there's a button called Manage at the top, and the Manage button allows you to manipulate the invoice in a lot of different ways. You can, and actually, instead of reading off this slide, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So back to the invoice. And here is the Manage button up here in the upper right. And so the first thing that I can do is customize it. I can turn different fields on and off. The changes that I'm making here are just for this one invoice. If I want to change all my invoices, I actually have to go up to Edit Default Settings. Although from watching the behavior, I think sometimes I'll make a change here and that it will continue onwards. But I think it's supposed to be just the one. So if I want the ship to on or off, I can toggle the shipping fields on and off. I'm going to go ahead and keep that off for right now. If for some reason I didn't need the invoice number, the invoice date, I could turn them off, but I don't know why I would turn those off. The service date was not relevant in this one, but we saw service date on the sales receipts. So here's where I could turn that on and off. Now notice that I just have a flat price here, but what if I wanted to order more than one bundle? I need my quantity and rate fields turned on. These are going to be on most of the time. It's very unusual that you would ever turn those off. So here I can see when I created my cabinet bundle, that one bundle included 24 cabinet pulls, one light pine wall unit, and one custom countertop. And then the rate adds up all of the lines. And what's cool about this is, let's say I needed 2 cabinet bundles. Check this out. If I change that to 2 and hit tab, it automatically updates the quantities and the prices. So that's the beautiful part about bundles. Okay, so that was customizing the different features that are on and off. The next one is your payment options. This file does not have merchant services turned on, but if I did, I would be able to specify, do I want them to be able to pay with credit card? Do I want them to be able to pay with ACH? Do I want them to be able to pay with Venmo and PayPal? And I can pick and choose which ones I want. Now, something to warn you about is if you do have QuickBooks payments turned on, but you turn off all the electronic payment methods, they will actually still give your customer the ability to pay, but they'll pay the fees. But those fees are not 3%. Those fees are $25. So they're really paying for the privilege of using the merchant services that you had turned off so that you didn't get the fees. So if you have merchant services turned on, you usually want at least one on, unless you really do want them to eat $25 in fees. Okay, so there's the merchant services part. Now, you also have some more fields that you can turn on and off. You can turn on and off your the totals and the discounts and the shipping fees. So if you didn't need these fields down here, you could turn them on and off. There is a new option here for deposit, which would allow you to take a deposit against this invoice. But really, that's a prepayment. That's not really a deposit. That's really just one payment against the invoice. And that's not handling the deposit properly. That is just really a first payment and it's income automatically. I'm not going to really go into liabilities and deposits in this course, but in my projects and job costing course, I talk about how to take a proper deposit as a payment liability for future work to be performed. So we're just going to pretend this deposit doesn't exist right now. Let me close the payment options section. Now I'm in the design section. And the design allows me to move back and forth between the modern template and the old classic traditional templates. So if you had custom form styles turned on from the past, you can still use them. However, it limits you a little bit. Right now, when I have modern forms turned on, I can change the color of the form. So I can pick something that looks pretty to me. If you have a hex code, you can put it in a hex code. And you also do get to, you do have the ability to change the font as well. So if you want a different font, you can change what the font looks like. It's pretty subtle, but you can pick it. The other difference between the modern template and the other templates is actually when we look in the upper left-hand corner. The modernized template gives you the ability to see the invoice as it is a form for you to fill out, or the view that your customer sees when you send them through the email. And when they click to pay, what does that look like? And then a PDF view. When you send the PDF, what does the PDF look like? So you get this flexibility of seeing what it all looks like. However, you don't get any control at all over what the PDF looks like. And so that's where the old designs come into play. If you have, and it's not set up in this file, so we're not going to see things that are too much different. But when I change the other template to standard, the form looks pretty much the same, but the payor view, you don't get to see what all the different views look like. The only way you get to see it is by doing a print or download down here at the bottom, and then look at what it looks like when they print. Now, hey, the credit limit that we had set for Diane, this current balance is higher than their credit limit. Do I want to continue? Why, yes. Yes, I do. Now, when I look at the invoice, it looks like what you have set up in your custom form styles. Now, I didn't actually take the time to set it up in here, but custom form styles does have flexibility for colors and layout and logos and what the overall appearance looks like. So it's a little bit more flexible. They are working right now to make the modern design have the same features that the standard design has. So I've just moved over it because I do like the ability to see what everything looks like up here on the left. All right, now that I'm done with design, the next option is scheduling. If this is not a one-time invoice, if it's going to happen repeatedly, I can make the invoice recurring. And there's a brand new payments option where if the invoice is going to be recurring, instead of just sending it to them and waiting for them to pay, you can make a recurring payment, which will send them an authorization saying, hey, Alicia's going to send this invoice every single month. Do you want to pre-authorize the payment? And they say yes, and they put in their payment information. And then every month when the invoice runs, it just automatically gets paid. And one of the things that's nice about that is the rate is actually cheaper. The fees are cheaper for doing that than they are putting in the payment information yourself. There's some additional options about printing it later or sending it later. There's automatic invoice reminders. Now, the thing with the invoice reminders is what this is going to do is turn on the ability to remind people about their invoices 3 days before they're due, on the due date, and after the due date. So they get notifications, but it's either on or off. It's either on for everybody or off for everybody, or on for nobody. And So I haven't really found it useful because sure, I would love to send reminders to some of my clients, but I have a couple invoices that I didn't even send them. I just put it in for my own use. So I don't want those sent to the client. So I wish, like late fees, that I could do these for each individual customer. All right. And then down at the bottom, there's a couple related reports. You can run an open invoices report and an all transactions report right from here. Down at the bottom, there's also a more actions button. And under more actions, you can copy an invoice. Later on, we're going to turn it into a credit memo. You can delete an invoice. You can void an invoice. You can see a transaction journal, which is the behind the scenes debits and credits on the invoice. And you can even see the audit history. We're going to talk about the audit history a little bit later on. The difference between deleting and voiding, delete means that I don't want this in my system at all. I don't want any evidence that it ever happened except by looking in the audit trail. Void zeroes out the money on the invoice, so you can still see the date and the activity and the products and services that were ordered, but there's no financial impact. So if you're in a business where you need to see the paper trail of all activity, even if it's not billable, you would void it. If it's like a complete mistake and it wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, you can void it. Now that I have everything that I need on this particular invoice, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now I have a couple different buttons down here. I can save and close it, which will take me back to where I started. I can save and new, which will make a new one. I can just save and stay here. So all of those are options. I can also review and send. And what review and send does is now it's going to email the client. Now it sets up the invoice for me. It says who it's to, and I can put in multiple email addresses simply by either putting a comma in, or I can click the CC, BCC and put in multiple email addresses. You can change the subject line. They actually have a couple different ways of phrasing it. You can see the little AI sparkles right here. So you can pick which one you like best in the message. You can also customize the message so that if you have more information that you want to send them, you can send it right in here. You also can be friendly or you can be formal, and it will change the tone. And this is all AI so that you can decide how you want to send it. And then once everything reads the way you want it to read, and then I will send the invoice. And now it just emailed it, and the customer will get it in order to pay it.